My name is Father Russ, Roide, a member of the Jesuit Retreat Center of Los Altos, and this is a homily for the fifth Sunday of Lent. Who needs healing? Those whose bodies are broken or failing or quick to raise their hands. But we also have more hidden sorrows that may embarrass us. Depression, addiction, grief from loss, or loneliness that haunts every hour. And how about the worriers who are insecure about tomorrow? And do we count the ones who hate their jobs, feel trapped in their situations, and hunger for a reason to get up in the morning? Do they qualify for healing? How about those who live with unendurable guilt for what they've done or failed to do? How about the hopeless who don't believe things will ever get better? Can there be healing for all the burdens humanity bears, inside and out? After we consider our need for healing, we have to ask what it's worth to be healed. Some of us will pay money to doctors and specialists, herbalists and therapists, buying pills and creams and surgeries, and in some cases that might do the trick. But sometimes money can't buy a solution. Dedicating time may be necessary, as in the pursuit of education, learning a new trade, clearing space for a retreat, or committing to a recovery program. But time may not be enough either. What would we give to end suffering in our lives? Are we willing to do something radical, expensive, and unthinkable? Are we willing, in fact, to change? Some people would rather die than change. Spiritually speaking, death is precisely what we're talking about. We are creatures of habit. Most of us could cheerfully or balefully curl up in familiar and stay there all of our lives. Doing things differently means we have to grow. Grow entails pushing beyond the limits of who we are and what we think we are sure of. Think of the many forms growth takes in nature. Snakes shed their skins, caterpillars go dormant in cocoons and emerge in a whole new form. Babies leave the safety of the womb and emerge in a blinding, buzzing world of utter vulnerability. Growth under just any circumstance is a dangerous proposition. Growth and change require sacrificing the familiar for what is unknown. We have to admit our ignorance and embrace humility. Growth can mean physical change, but just as often it implies changing the way we think, the well-worn grooves of our attitudes, and even the emotions we make room for. If we want to be more grateful, we have to stop entertaining feelings of slight or jealousy. If we want to be more patient, we have to curb the tendency toward foot-tapping and anger. If we want to be less lonely, we have to be willing to go out where the love is. As Mother Teresa said, even God cannot fill what is full. If we want something new to come into our lives, we have to relinquish something, the old. A lot of people fear change because we don't know what's on the other side of the crystal ball. The devil we know is preferable to the devil we don't. Never mind that any devil is a foretaste of hell. The antidote to fear is faith and trust. Faith doesn't change our ignorance of the future. It is not a crystal ball, nor does it promise a life free from obstacles. But faith gives us the ultimate assurance that God is with us all the way to death. And once there, God will open our graves and have us rise. What then could we possibly be afraid of? Jesus did not fear the news that his friend Lazarus was ill, nor did he tremble when he learned that Lazarus had died and was buried 4 days. The grief of those he loved troubled him greatly, but he stood calmly at the mouth of the tomb and ordered the removal of the stone with confidence. In the will of God to bring life out of death, Jesus cried, "Lazarus, come out." Do we believe that Jesus will make the same cry for every person we have loved and lost? Do we believe at the hour of our death that Jesus will cry out for us by name and beckon us into new life? This faith is what it means to be a Christian. If the death of the body is no obstacle to the love of God, then how can we fear any change to which we're summoned? God calls us out of these graves by name for the purpose of embracing the wonderful new life of grace. Change? The religious word for this is conversion. It's not an option. We have to continually split the skin of our narrow hearts to grow larger, softer hearts. We have to give up our hearts of stone to procure hearts of flesh. If we're not willing to die, we cannot embrace the life that is promised us. Even God cannot fill what is full.